Ta-da! It's us again.
It is really hot.
It's really hot. It's 95 degrees right now, and it's expected to get up to 97 before we're done here today. But we are people on a mission. We will not let the heat stop us. Welcome, friends, to Six Flags Great Adventure. To be honest, I don't have much of a frame of reference of what a park would look like when it's packed, but this to me does not feel like it. Park just opened, it's about 11 a.m., maybe a little bit after, and the streets are barren. As are most of the rides at the moment. I'm not sure if the big wheel's gonna run today or not. Looking for a ride on Nitro this morning. We'll see what the lines look like. We might not want to wait in a super long one, but we've never been on Nitro, so this is a record book day. At least we found Batman. Aha! All right, friends and neighbors, let's have us a little ride on Nitro. There's a really good chance that this ride is going to be a walk-on. Let's find out. New favorite hyper, all time. That ride was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Totally awesome.
The good news is, every other train is being sanitized before they run it through. So we had to wait for an extra beat while they sent an empty train that had just been soaked. We then boarded the immediate next one. Still a walk-on. I mean, we waited literally maybe 60 seconds. But after that, they dispatched an empty train that had just been soaked, the one that we had just been riding. So the good news is that they're taking safety very, very seriously here. In fact, they would not let trains dispatch until someone put their mask over their nose, which I think, props to Six Flags.
Yeah, hero of the day up there. I don't know who you are, but you keep telling those people to put their masks on.
There are people who are not taking it seriously, and they do not stick around. So, go Six Flags. All right, if I did what I think I'm probably gonna do in post, then you will have just seen us get off Nitro. One thing we forgot to mention is that before you board the ride, they make you spray Sani in your hands and wipe it out. It's froggy, so it's super, super industrial. And then you sit on the ride, you ride the ride, you get off the ride, and then they make you spray again. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that today I'm wearing a Target brand black face mask, large size. Might be a little too big for me. The second we went on the first airtime hill, which was awesome, I immediately felt this thing flapping into my ear because it had come immediately unstrung. I held on to it, no harm, no foul. Probably gonna switch to a different mask for other large coasters later in the day. Switched into my sports mask, which is a little bit more breathable because we are about to board Kingda Ka, and that previous mask that I was wearing, a little too big for me, so there's just no way it's gonna stay on. I wouldn't recommend wearing this mask all day long because this bridge here, as I've kind of talked about in the past, is a little hard on the nose. So I feel like it's not a good all-day mask, but it is a good and super secure hang on to your hat, you're going to be launched at 60 to 70 miles an hour max. Feel good about this one. Oh, we're coming for you, my friend. completely honest, Kingda Ka is starting to show its age a little bit. A little bit more rattly than I remember it. But good, still good.
So my mask, this mask here, my favorite, ended up under my chin by the time we came down, and there was a guy in the front row
who lost it.
his.
It blew right off. And it was one of these, but without the strap on the back. So he had the filters. It was definitely a sports model, but it was gone.
Yeah,
It just
so
flew right off. So
really, if you can, do whatever you can to tighten your mask or have
if
one
you're
that-
coming to Great Adventure, if you're gonna ride Kingda Ka, make sure you got a mask that can take it. I definitely recommend this strapped mask.
Or bring an extra.
Or bring an
I like to do
extra
that
and
anyway.
bring the paper mask for Kingda Ka. How busy would you say it is today, babe?
On like a scale of 1 to 10.
If 1 is dead, as in Ghost Town, and 10 is super busy, can't move shoulder to shoulder, where would you put it?
I'd say 2. It's probably between, I bet it's going to be later in the day. Probably will be up to a 3 or a 4. But right now, I'd say it's 2.
Yeah.
Honestly. We walked on almost every ride except Ka. And Ka, they're probably...
Ka was a 10-minute wait at most, and they were using 2 trains.
But they're also, I think they're trying to fill the trains up more than less to send
Yeah.
them over. So.
Well, we did seat every other row, so it was still very safe. Hello.
Hello.
So we're at lunch now. They just gave us all our food in prepackaged containers, including a basket, quote, quote, of chicken tenders, which is sealed inside a cardboard box. All of our utensils were handed to us shrink wrapped. Your salad was in a plastic container, right?
Separate dressing container.
And now we can unmask and have ourselves a little treat. And I gotta tell you, I have missed people fighting with geese.
It's pretty funny.
It's that kind of human interaction that I just didn't realize I needed. El Toro. It's that kind of human interaction that I just didn't realize I was missing until it was gone.
I mean,
And now,
animal interaction.
human and animal interaction. In many ways, human versus animal interaction. Anyway, it was a fun time. We're on our way now to Mine Train because we have very full stomachs and we don't want to try to take on things like Bizarro or Green Lantern with food sitting in our bellies. But we do want them coaster credits, so we're gonna keep moving. We're struggling, team. We're struggling. We've reached the peak of the heat in the afternoon. It is 97 degrees. Only just now after, what, 7 coasters? 7? After 7 coasters, to include Batman, Nitro, Dark Knight Coaster. Super rude of them to play music right in the middle of my speech. Batman, Nitro, Dark Knight Coaster, El Toro, Kingda Ka, Mine Train Ride, which had more kick than we were expecting it to. Way to go, Kitty Coaster. And Bizarro. So after all that, and a spot of lunch, and 3.5 water bottles each, we're finally starting to feel the impact of the hot day. So we're gonna see now if we can find one of these rumored relaxation areas where we can sit down in the shade and unmask for a little bit. See if we can gain some of our momentum back before we plunge into the last 4 coasters of the day. So we just got off Superman. Flight of Steel? Or just Superman?
Superman Ultimate Flight.
Superman Ultimate Flight. I think I prefer Green Lantern as a standing coaster a little bit more than Superman as a flyer.
And I feel the exact opposite. I thought Superman was a way better ride
Well,
than Green Lantern. But
with Superman, everything was with Superman, everything was fine except for the fact that when we went into that inversion, coming out of the downward spiral and up into the top of a loop, that was misery. That was straight up agony, being pushed into your seat like you're launching a space shuttle. It was awful.
It was uncomfortable, but I prefer like 3 seconds of uncomfortable over standing for your entire ride.
Standing is tough because the standing coaster, it pushes all of the gravity, all of the G-forces go into your feet.
Yeah.
So your legs do, I mean, there's a
got,
lot of
like,
resistance. I
tingly.
felt tired at the end.
Yeah, it's like I had to work hard to enjoy that ride.
But that makes it so much more better because then you worked hard and you enjoyed yourself, and a good day's work is its own reward.
I will take 3 seconds of uncomfortable and the ability to fly over standing on that thing. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever done, but it was not my favorite.
We have 2 hours left before park close, and we have 3 coasters remaining, one of which we're not actually sure we want to do. Because free spin coasters are not our favorite thing.
Yeah.
So far, really no lines anywhere.
Nope.
Green Lantern, we had to wait maybe 10 minutes. Superman was a walk-on. Kingda Ka, maybe 10 minutes. I still think the Sky Car, the cable car that took us between one half of the park and the other, that was our longest wait, and it was only because they had to sanitize the cars.
Yeah.
So, if we were ever going to do a 12 coaster challenge, this might be the best day to do it.
Might be the day.
Nothing like a little bit of creepy theming.
And, not being in the sun.
And not being in the sun. We've never done this one before. This will be an all-new indoor Pirates of the Caribbean roller coaster experience. I think it's very fair to say that Skull Mountain is the laugh track of Six Flags Great Adventure. It's fine. It's not as good as Laugh Track because it's not as well themed, and you're not in individual cars, you're on a train. 2 coasters to go. Harley Quinn and Joker. If we can do this inside the last hour of the day, it will be a record in our own books. Joker is down. With approximately 45 minutes to an hour left on the clock, people are being turned away. I'm gonna be furious if I amp myself up to ride that stupid thing that nobody wants to ride just to get that last coaster credit so we can say we had a 12 coaster day. We're at 11 coasters. We just got off Harley Quinn. Joker is literally all we had left to do. But since there's nothing we can do about it for the moment, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on back to Nitro, which is hands down our favorite ride of the day. We're gonna get a second ride in there, so long as that's not closed and the wait isn't terrible. And then we're gonna come back. We've got an hour left till close, which means we have at least that much time for them to fix the ride, potentially, and let us back on it. But it being so close to close, I don't know if they intend to fix it, or if they intend to just shut her down and see what they can do about it tomorrow. So, best laid plans, we'll see what happens. Power through, 1 more hour. That's it, we're done. The app now reads Joker closed. Not temporarily, just closed. That means there's no way they're opening it back up today. If we'd done it, literally, I've got shots in there of the Joker working as we were boarding Harley Quinn. If we had done it in the inverted order, we would have made it, but oh well. I think we survived the longest, hottest day of any theme park ever. except maybe in Dubai, where, you know, they're in an actual desert. This was the true test of whether or not you can survive in a mask all day in the heat, and you can, as long as you hydrate. 3 o'clock was when it was the hottest, the peak when it hits 97, which with the heat index was over 100.
We thought we were done.
I was dead on my feet at that point in the day. But then we drank literally 2 water bottles each. We went to a store, we bought 2 water bottles each, and it was 2 for $10 here, so that's a lot to pay for a water bottle, but it was worth it because it gave us life.
Like,
It gave us our second win, and we were able to knock out the other coasters, except for Joker. So,
but we were going to.
We were
had
gonna.
Every intention.
we were gonna.
Even
we were
though
gonna.
we hate it.
Thus concludes our day at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. It was an adventure, and it has been great.
Great. I messed that up. Sorry.
Oh! Probably won't do that one again today, but it was fun. It's still fun to do a wild mouse, even if it's a standard, typical wild mouse. I've lost my wife. She has gone into the great beyond to dance with the forest fairies. If you had the option of walking all the way to the other side of the park or taking a nice little bucket, wouldn't you take the bucket? It doesn't matter what you would do. You're not me. I'm taking the bucket.